babies are her life. And so just a really amazing opportunity for her to do that. So the first thing we're doing is we're wishing her a very happy birthday. So thank you, Sherry Watson, for everything you do and for changing this world as we know it. And you're such a gift to this world. You're such a gift to us at the Power Purpose. And we're just grateful for you. So happy birthday, Sherry. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Erica. I work with the Power Purpose I'm the director of communications. I work with a lot of different areas within the Power Purpose. But my other claim to fame is also that Sherry Watson is my mother-in-law. So if you've seen Derek Watson on some of the streams and some of the webinars, he's our real estate guru, our Giving Tuesday guru, kind of the guru of many, many things. But I'm lucky to call him my husband and lucky to call Sherry my mother-in-law. And hi, Brandon. So super happy to have you with me, Brandon. I was just doing a little introduction of myself. Why don't you introduce yourself?
I didn't mean to cut you off. I just wanted to say I'm also a in-law recently, so that was exciting. Super pumped to get on here. Sorry, running a little bit behind. I was just talking with a student out of Texas who's working on housing veterans and a bunch of really cool stuff that we can talk about it a little bit more in the call here. But yeah, glad to be a part of it. Happy birthday, Sherry. She's on the road again.
Mm-hmm.
And so we all wouldn't be here without her. And she is the one that really brought all this together. So always blessed to be a part of this and to now call her my mother.
I know we're in a sweet club, Brandon.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, and I think it would be really fun way to start too, is you've already kind of touched on it. I think, for the people watching, myself and Brandon, we're really on the front lines as far as really getting a chance to interact, get to know the students that come into the Power Purpose in our various programs. And just, we really get a chance to, I guess, see and feel the visions of everybody out there who's really looking to launch nonprofits and looking to build funding and looking to connect and do all of those things that Sherry so expertly educates people on. And so we get the fun part of really getting to know that those groups of people that come in with these missions and these dreams that they just, the way they want to just change the world. And so I wanted Brandon, I think it would be really fun. You can kind of start touching on it, but I'd love for you to share with us just a couple, one or two, maybe people that have really stood out to you that you've had a chance to connect with lately, maybe some of the really interesting visions that they've had in their mind, and just kind of share a couple of those stories that you've come across with people and future students of the Power Purpose that, we get to work with and Sherry gets to work with.
There's a lot. There's really a lot of people. I think the call I just had was awesome. Talking to a finance guy who works in real estate, real sharp, successful, and wants to set up, this is actually a pretty interesting thing to discuss, the difference between a 501c3 and a 508. So once a day for dinner now once a month. So they feed daily, and on the other side, there's a door that they walk through where they provide fellowship and ministry on that side. So they invite everybody. It's not a mandatory thing to be fed, but they invite everybody that would be interested to come over to the one side to get that fellowship ministry, and then they come over and feed. And I think they have a pretty successful brand that they get. So there's ways to implement your idea, to implement your vision that you might not necessarily know about. So there's a lot of different ways to go at this, and kind of explaining it's more about the goal and the mission you want to accomplish, whether that's to the end of homeless veterans, seniors, kids getting out of foster care, human trafficking, sex trafficking, whatever it is, whatever your purpose is. And I'll go one a little bit further, is you want to align kind of the three areas that I talk about. That's your purpose, your passion, what you want to do, what you want to see change, make better, impact, veterans, housing, whatever it is. What's the real problem that issue that you want to change? What is the unique problem? What are the real challenges those people are faced with? So if somebody has a drug addiction and you come in and you provide housing for people that are either homeless or on the verge of homelessness, and they've got a drug addiction that you didn't identify or they didn't present very well, that you just basically continued their drug problem, and actually they poured a lot of gasoline on it, because now they have a house or a temporary place to stay. They don't have to worry about that. Now they just are really gonna drown themselves in their addiction. So trying to understand what that root cause of the problem that Sherry talks about. And then the third most important, aligning all that, is the funding. So how all those things kind of play a concert. So what are you passionate about? What drives you? You've got to identify that, or at least try to hone that in. It could be a variety of things. I have a lot of students that come to me with an idea, and then it changes 10, 15 different times. That's happened to my nonprofit, and we do as a business. That's a business, but you've got to have that purpose, that passion, that vision of what you want to make the world better in, and then understand what the problems are, what the unique problems are. That's going to take what Sherry talks about, connecting, getting in front of your legislators, getting in front of the people you serve. That's probably what she talked about yesterday. The most important thing that we focus on in the inner circle is how to bring in the people you serve to play an integral part in the development, in the identifying the problem, and then addressing the problem solutions in your programs, right? And then funding, right? Align those first two, and the funding, we will show you how to get that.
Yeah, that's a really great point too. I think that you had kind of, touched on that idea of the 501c3 versus the 8, the really boxing yourself up into such a narrow focus. I think that's one thing I really have taken away from Sherry's trainings too, is just the fact that within a nonprofit, the fun part about it is the fact that it's really, you're able to help more than just one specific group of people, one cause. You don't have to be boxed into a corner and backed into that to forever. So you're going to really be able to, especially within the nonprofit, we always talk about the name, the mission statement, all of those things. Keep them broad enough so that you can expand, and then you can have those really specific programs underneath that umbrella of your nonprofit, so that you can really dive directly towards those specific causes underneath the umbrella, and rather than only saying your nonprofit helps children or only your nonprofit only helps veterans. I love the idea of the 501c3 because of the fact that you're not limited to who you want to serve, because like me, like you, sometimes things will come your way and cross your path that will strike you in the heart. You might not realize, but down the road, you might come across a kid with autism, and it hits you in the gut. And suddenly you're really seeing that need there, and you realize you can go help them. So you want to have that ability to create a new program underneath your existing nonprofit to be able to dive into that if that's something that really comes across your path down the road. We can't control those experiences, and most of the people that I know I talk to who want to start nonprofits, it's because they've had an experience either personally or because, you know, a struggle that they've personally fought with, or a loved one, or they've just kind of, it's crossed their path in their lifetime to where it really touched them and they saw the need and they just knew that they were capable of giving something and helping in some way. So I love that you kind of touched on that a little bit with that, the idea of really keeping your scope as broad as possible to be able to help down the road, especially as you grow and as your funding grows, your programs get to grow and you get to help more people and more people. And I just really, I love that part of it because it's so important in the nonprofit world to just, the whole point is to be able to help as many people as possible. So I love that. And, you know, and I've had some really just, I mean, I know you, Brandon, you've talked to so many people and I have as well. It's like, I think I've probably heard about every cause you could probably imagine, it almost feels like nowadays. And it makes you realize that every single population has a need. And we're not just talking about the immediate obvious ones that we've already spoken about, you know, homeless, you know, veterans, you know, we have a lot of at-risk, you know, children, you know, we have at-risk areas and trying to serve those people. But you know what? I mean, every population has a need. Seniors, children, animals, foster children, you know, disability movement. I mean, I literally could go on I could probably spend an entire hour just going through all of the different options. So I love the fact that whatever it is that calls to you, I'm talking to all of you out there, whatever it is that calls to you, if you see the need, that means there's a need. And that's the biggest thing, is that don't feel like, because I spoke to someone the other day, he suffered from epilepsy, really, really bad epilepsy, where he would suffer seizures probably 3 or 4 times a day, to the point of not being able to live a regular life. I mean, you don't know when they're gonna hit, so you're afraid to go into public, you're afraid to get a normal job, you don't feel like you can be social because you don't know when or if it's gonna hit, so you have anxiety, you have fear, all of those. Imagine that. Imagine going through your day not knowing if you're going to drop and have a seizure at any moment. And he was fortunate that he was a candidate for surgery. He got that surgery back in the early 80s or late 70s. So back in the day, he got that surgery, and now he's had one in the last like 5 years, you guys. So like, I mean, what a life changing moment that is. But you know what? Not everybody is a candidate for surgery. So what he realized is there's so many people out there that are battling that fight that he had for so long, and he realizes how much it holds people back. And so he wants to create a resource center for people with epilepsy, being able to help with training, being able to even have a facility where they get to live respectfully. They have their own apartment, they have their own independence, which most don't, because they have to have someone in their house, they have to have their parent or someone who knows about their condition to be able to handle those moments where they cannot help themselves. And so he wants to create almost like an independent living situation where they get their own apartment, their own kitchen, their own things, but they have somebody who's available, who they have that oversight to be able to have medical staff on site and people who are skilled and trained at it, who can be there for those moments, but they can get that sense of normalcy, they can get that independence, but they're in an area where they're supported and it's understood. And I was like, people would never, you know, unless you've been there, that's not something you would think about. If it's not your brother, your sister, your kid, or you that's really had to deal with that, but that population needs the help. And I just love that because it's not something that some people would ever even imagine helping. But that is a population that's at need, and I love that he is stepping forward and he's going to be out there really helping these people who need it so badly, who literally can't live the lives that they want because they feel held back by this. So I just, you know, kind of another example of just the fact of the scope of causes and people who need the help. And I love that.
Absolutely. And I think what one thing you said kind of struck me was, you know, living experience, one thing I love about almost everyone we work with and everyone that comes to us is the selflessness that they have in wanting to help serve the community. Is they've gone through something, like you said, something happened, something struck their life, whether it was directly or indirectly, and they want to use that experience to go help others. Look at Sherry. I mean, Sherry could have kept on living her life, doing whatever she wanted to, but she used her experience and what happened with her accident, and she had some really good people around her that helped her to get through that, to rehabilitate her life and herself, and then once she was able to take care of herself, she could go out and take care of others. So and they did that in a nonprofit. That was one of the important lessons that Sherry teaches, but that they really took to heart, was you've got to take care of yourself before you can take care of others. And setting up your vision, your mission as a nonprofit is probably the best way to do it, because it's a business, it's not a charity. So the young man you were talking about, the experience that he went through and what he had to overcome and his challenges, now he's in a much better position in his life and poised to get this thing set up and to start to go out there and help others. What I really like to talk about, Eric, is when you're chatting with folks, what are some of the big things that come up that might hold people back, that might present a challenge, present something that they think might get in their way? Les Brown talks about fear is an acronym, right? False evidence appearing real. I think that the fear of getting set up or the fear of failure is something I talk with a lot of people about, not on a surface level, but I think that's something that really presents itself. So what about you when you're chatting with folks? And two, I mean, we're here setting up a nonprofit. We're running our businesses and we're doing great things in the world. So, personally, and then also maybe some of the people that you talk to, what are some of the things that you think come up with, and how we might be able to help that?
Yeah, I think I do agree with you that that subconscious fear is definitely one that's present for quite a few people who are in that phase of concept in their head, but haven't necessarily put anything down on paper or taken any action towards it. I think that, like you said, that little bit of fear of failure is there. That's starting something new is scary. Some people believe that they don't have the expertise either in business or they don't have knowledge in the nonprofit world. And what I tell them is, well, that's what we're here for. Like, that is why we're here. We're here to teach you. We're here to help you. That's why we're an education, group. That's why we are here to educate you on how to do things the right way. And I always think it's funny because they're like, well, I have a business. I've talked to business owners who have the entrepreneur spirit, and they say, but I just don't have any experience in the nonprofit world. And I said, you're just getting into the business world. You're already in it. All we have to do is give you a little ins and outs of the nonprofit part. It's not, you have the hardest part done. You've got the business savvy. And I think that's funny because a lot of people think they're so different worlds. And if you've heard Sherry talk, you've heard her say it a million times that it is a nonprofit business. Okay? Nonprofit doesn't mean no profit. Does that make sense? That's literally a huge thing. So that's definitely one that I've definitely dealt with back in the day. And I think that the next one is time. I think people use time as an excuse. And I think people, think they don't have enough time to really dedicate to doing this. And part of my response a lot of times when I have that conversation is another reason, one that we want to help is because we want to save you that time. We want to make it as streamlined as possible so that way you're not reinventing the wheel, getting lost into the Googleverse where you get sucked into the rabbit holes of videos and lists and all these things. We're really there to just kind of like streamline it so that you just have step 1, step 2, step 3, follow, get done, right? And I think that's probably a big thing. And then the idea that people don't have time to serve it. And it's like, the job you're doing every day to pay the bills, that how much of your life is that paycheck costing you? How much of your life are you sacrificing to be able to make that payment and to be able to bring that paycheck in? That is the reason you should be doing it. That should not be the obstacle holding you back. That should be your driving factor of like, I want my life back, I want my time back, and I want my time to mean something. And to me, that is the most important thing ever, because your time is way more valuable than any dollar you will ever earn at a job. And would you rather spend your time in a cubicle or grinding, or would you rather spend it helping people, leaving a legacy and putting an impact out there that's going to make this place better for your children, your grandchildren, for your cousin, for you? And to me, the time thing always gets me, because I'm like, come on, like, let's go. Like, the time is the reason you should be moving now. And we have a lot more time than we realize. That's the other thing. That they'll be like, I just don't have enough time, I'm working. And I said, listen, we all think that we are busy for the entire span of this day. But you know what? There are a lot of moments in these days and nights that you can spend being productive, and you could spend building towards this dream. And I've had my Netflix binge nights. I've had my got to get my show in. But you know what? That's time that can be spent working towards this and making this a reality and changing your life, but also changing countless lives that are sitting around waiting for you to make the move. I think that's a big deal.
Yep.
And then I'd say my third, obstacle that I think that most people talk about is going to be money. And people think it's going to take, tens of thousands of dollars to be able to get this going, and it's going to be out of pocket, and it's going to be all these things. It's a business, so yes, you have to invest in it. That's the first thing, is that just because it's a nonprofit doesn't mean it's not a business. We already covered that. So if you're going to go into any business venture, you do have to put something into it. You do have to make an investment. If you want to do nails for a living, you got to pay for cosmetology school. You've got to pay for a space at a salon. You have to buy all the products, right? So it's just that same idea of any business you're going to start, whether you're starting your own, anything like that, you're going to have to put that investment in. It doesn't always have to be the tens of thousands that you're probably anticipating, but you have to be willing to put an investment in. So you have to be willing to get creative, talk to Uncle Joe out in Missouri, whatever you have to do to make your dream happen. That's where I find it, is that the excuses and the fear of trying to figure out how to help get it started is that I just don't have it right now. You know what? Yes, you do. If you had to get your kidney replaced today, I guarantee you'd figure out how to make it happen. So you know what? If you don't, you have to put that same importance, you have to put that same urgency into this. Because if you don't, you're going to sit around, you're going to think about it for years, and all those people that you want to serve are sitting there waiting for you. And you know what? Some of them might not make it until you get the courage to start, right? If they're sitting there waiting, you have someone on the streets who's fighting addiction, and you have the opportunity to help that person. By the time you pull the trigger and that you decide it's time, it might be too late for them. And that's something that hits me in the heart. That's something that I think strikes home for a lot of us, because we put roadblocks in front of ourselves. All of those roadblocks that I just said are all ones you self-inflict. Imagine you're roller skating down the street and you decide to throw little obstacles in front of your skates. You're doing it to yourself, to trip yourself up. It's not the universe, it's you. And so we, as people, have to stop throwing obstacles in front of ourselves. Life is hard enough as it is. Why are we making it harder on ourselves? You clear the path, find the way, find the solutions. And I think that's, to me, the most important thing, is get out there and actually start doing what you're thinking about. Get it out of your head and put it into action. And I think Sherry tries to really get people to understand that, because there's so many people out there waiting for you. And it's frustrating because every obstacle you're putting in your brain is something you put in your brain, and it's not real. Like you said, right? Fear? Exactly. It's not real.
Yep. False evidence appearing real. Yep.
That's
I
all
think,
of the objections, I'm telling you.
right. One of the things I really like that you said, well, two. Well, one of the things that stood out the most is time. Time is absolutely relative to your experience. Oprah Winfrey, who runs a multi-billion-dollar business, has the same 24 hours as I do, except for I don't know what she does with her time, because she's crushing it.
Yeah.
But everybody has the same time, and it's it's something that took me a long time, so to say, to really understand that we are our biggest problems, but Erica, we're our biggest solutions to those problems. So we can get in our way all day long, and I see it happen with myself. I mean, nobody in this world is perfect, and to identify, to really say, you know what, I have been getting in my own way, and I have been holding myself back in what I want. What's deep in the core here?
Yeah.
What's in the feels? So what I really want to change, and a lot of people that work with us, they run businesses, or they're working in a job they don't like, or they're at a place where they want to change, shift, move past where they are. Now you've got to figure out that is, once you tap into that moment where it's like, all right, I gotta do something different. I gotta make a change. Erica, you know how many days the average human lives?
Tell me.
Days.
I couldn't even.
30,000 days. 30,000 days.
That makes it real. That's crazy.
That's real, right?
Yeah.
Hey, I didn't make it up. I'm not, I just heard that. But the average, it's about 30,000 days. And if you think it's about 10,000 of those days are your early life, childhood, high school, all that good
Yeah.
stuff until you become an adult, then you're in that chunk of those days, and then you're on the latter half, the latter of those three. So what are you doing with your 30,000 days? What are you doing differently? Because that stuff comes like that. I mean, life is so short and limited that we take advantage of it. But it's not because we don't. It's for a lot of reasons, because we are so heavily bombarded with distraction nowadays. So give yourself the okayness up until now that it's okay that we haven't jumped in. It's okay we haven't done anything, but don't let it be the excuse when moving forward.
Yeah.
Because once you learn it, once you educate yourself and say, all right, I understand that I am my problem, then create the solution yourself. Be the solution to your own problem. So don't stay stuck once you realize, all right, well now I know I've got to make a difference in my own life. But more importantly, if you're here on the webinar, if you're listening to this anywhere, then you understand that you're here for a reason, and you already had made that first step of wanting to make yourself better, wanting to do something and change yourself. And I think one of the biggest problems, I know, Erica, for me, is having support in doing something.
Yeah.
Right? Being in the Marine Corps, I was talking to this guy earlier today. We're talking about issues that veterans face. We have our men and women in service, whatever force that is, are really second to none. Nobody holds a cake to our service our service men and women, and what they do, what they overcome, the challenges they're faced with. You know me, I'm always going to be talking about veterans, but when we're in, we get all these services, we get all these things to support us. When we have a problem or a challenge that we're faced with, it's hey Sergeant, hey, Air Force, I don't know all the things, but chain of command, hey Marine, right?
Yeah.
Hey, chain of command, how do I help change, or how do I get past this challenge in my life? Then you get out, and then you fall flat, and there's no support. There are a lot of things that can support you, but there's stock up, and go through that process. But we teach you to connect. We teach you to get out there and build the relationship. This is a relational business. And if you're feeling stuck anywhere in the process, whether it's setup, whether it's diversified funding strategy, whether it's rollout, ramp up, sustainability, moving on some more resources to grow another part of the project, wherever you're stuck, we have built a community here that helps you get past that, right? And the community is only as good as the people that join it.
Yeah.
So we only bring on people in our inner circle program that are ready and willing to put in 110% into themselves and their nonprofit and community that they serve. That's it. So they don't have to have all the answers, and they don't have to have everything drawn out, mapped out to a T. That's okay. That's what we're here to do. That's what we're here to help with. But we are looking for folks that are ready. They're past the questionable phase of, am I going to do this? Is this a good idea? We don't know, because it's in the idea graveyard right now. So let's dig it up and bring it to life here, and we can show you the tools that you need. I have so many people that come to me, Erica, that have an idea, and it changes and it shifts and it molds because the community needs something differently. I had a gentleman that said, I housed at a successful nonprofit. I housed homeless, we fed 100 to 150 people in our program last year. Okay, great. Now, what did you do to make their life better? I mean, you fed them, that's fantastic. Obviously, we need to eat. But what did you do to transition them from where they are to where they need to go in their life? And that struck him really hard. This is actually a colleague of mine who was talking to me about this, and he told me that, he said, you know what? I actually had a guy, this is, kind of a sad part of that story, but I actually had a guy that I helped in my program, and we thought we helped him, but he ended up taking his life shortly after that. So realizing that just feeding somebody is great, but that's not the end all be all. That's not where it ends in service. So in Sherry's nonprofit, one of the ones that she had 19 programs where she served people with disability. The community at large, everybody. She served in so many facets, because when you're challenged with a housing issue, when you're challenged with getting out of poverty, or getting out of human trafficking, or if you're in it, or whatever, the people that we serve, wherever they're at, it's not just one service. It's, we need to provide wraparound services. And when you come and you think, well, I don't know if my idea is good enough, there's pain out there in the world. People are experiencing it every single day, and you're here for a reason. So why not just jump in? What's going to really hold you back? You don't have to have a successful nonprofit in a month. The people around you, if they're in your ear giving you bad ideas, turn them off, right? Talk to them about something else. Don't talk to them about this, because that's not where you're going to get that support. The support and the success I've seen in our students, Erica, and what we've been able to build here in launching and empowering 10,000 nonprofits is in the inner circle program. We lean on each other. We're there for support, and it really it depends on your level of activity and commitment and how much you put into it. So it's very much, if you don't put a lot into it, you're not going to get a lot out of it. But if you're ready, and you don't need 50 hours a week, we work with very successful business owners that run businesses and do it very well, and then they still have the time to focus on it, because it's not about the time, it's about how you spend it and the priority of the time. Because you can prioritize binge watching Netflix, or you can prioritize your nonprofit, what you want to do and accomplish. I certainly have done binge watching on Netflix.
Yep, me too.
And I'm sad actually that Game of Thrones is passed.
Ugh.
That's okay. That's a story for.
We could do an entire segment on just all of that. So we'll step away.
Yeah.
No, I think great points there. And You know, I want to. There's a couple people on the Facebook that have made some comments. I'd love to kind of address them because or at least just say hi to them. But we've definitely got some awesome people. We've got Rebecca Mitchell from Dallas saying hello, and you know what? She actually said, "I have a 5123. How do I get grants, etc." So Rebecca, one, like we responded in the comments, you could schedule a strategy session. There's you see the link in there, but you also keep an eye out because next Thursday in our Purpose Funding Generator series, which is brand new, it's a Thursday free training series that Sherry is doing. That's going to be running over weeks, a couple weeks, 4 to 6 weeks here, guys. We started last night, which was basically really just an introduction, getting you guys all on the same page as far as knowing what a nonprofit is, what a 501c3 means, what the different strategies for funding are, and really just kind of like getting your feet wet. And then next week, we're going to be diving into the grant world. And then we're going to have another segment on the real estate world and the charitable giving of real estate. So if you're interested in the funding, that's also a really great place to go to get information from Sherry. But I do recommend getting on that Calendly link to schedule a call with our purpose consultants, which includes me, which includes Brandon. We have a great team that's there to help you and to be a part of it, right? So I think that's awesome. And then Azar Azimi wrote, because we were talking about just like getting the knowledge and making sure we're not reinventing the wheel, like doing it right. But when you know better, you do better. Great comment there. And then also we've got Stephanie Thomas McKinnon. She said, I want to make a change. So we already talked to you. We know, we told you, if you want to make the change, the only thing that will hold you back is you. So throw away those roadblocks, get moving, get onto that webinar on Thursday night, start doing things that you can do right now to take that step. Also, click that link on that Calendly if you want a strategy session to try to talk through some things and get the ball rolling and see if there's a way we can help you forward too, okay? I think that's fantastic. Yay, Rebecca said she's gonna schedule a time, so I love it. We've got the Calendly posted in the comments section, so click that, you're good to go, and we'll be very excited to talk to you, Miss Rebecca, so appreciate that. Charles Taylor, hello, my Charles Taylor. He said, happy birthday, Sherry. So excited to see you on here, Charles. Great guy out of Fresno, California, the Amelia Free Foundation, and my heart is always with you, Mr. Charles. So absolutely amazing. And he said, thanks, Erica, and to your team as well. So yay, Charles. And I know I saw Skip Timus on there, Vince Lombardi's on there watching. We've got JP on our Zoom. We've got Martha Parker watching. So just wanted to kind of say hello to everybody who's tuning in and saying things. I wanted to make sure, got a chance to kind of do a little, shout out. And then, JP also said 30,000 days works out to 82 years. Hope I might live that long. Me too. That's the average, but that's on the very luckiest of us out there. But that even makes it more important to make sure we're getting moving as fast as possible and making sure that we are rocking and rolling and not wasting our valuable time. The days, they tend to go so fast. We're already in June of 2019. What? We're halfway through the year, you guys. Like, insane, right? So it's just that idea of how many days have passed by that have really slipped through our fingers, if you will. So really working on making every single day just count. Make every day impactful, even in the smallest ways. Make a point that every day you do something to move forward, whether it's through your nonprofit, through your personal life, all your relationships. Improve things every single day. Help someone every single day, even if it's something as simple as smiling at a stranger on the street. Something as simple as actually looking someone in the eye and saying, hi, how are you? Someone you don't know. Little things like that are just as good to start. So I just really want to enforce that and make sure that you guys are going, you're out there making something happen every day and we're not wasting our time. And Rebecca says, no, I'm going for 120 years. Yes, I love it. I'm in. I will try to keep up with you, Rebecca. But anyways, we're going to wrap this up for you guys. We appreciate your time with us. I know it's not the same without Sherry here. Thank you guys so much for showing us the love. And you know what? We just really want to reiterate again, we really hope Sherry, Mama Sherry, we hope you have the most amazing birthday. And we hope you have the best time with the family, the little ones. And it's your day. It's just enjoy every moment of it and make the most of it, just like we talked about, right? I can guarantee you Sherry does not waste days of her life. That lady makes the most of every moment because you know what? She got a reality check back in the day and she doesn't go a day without appreciating what she has and the abilities that she has and the relationships that she has.
Exactly.
Yep.
Sounds good. Well, thanks for having me on, Erica.
Thank you, Brandon. Appreciate you so much for coming on and just sharing with me and being a part of it. So, everybody out there, if you get a chance, get on the Facebook page and post happy birthday to Sherry today if you can. We want her to be showered with love and attention and affection. And so if you get a chance, get on the Facebook page and please say happy birthday. If you're on Instagram, go onto our Instagram page. Get out there, share the love, give Sherry some props because she has no idea I just asked you to do this. And I want her to see that when she gets done with that baseball game tonight in Denver. I want her to open her computer and be overwhelmed with how much love she gets. So please go out and do that for us. That's our little secret until tonight. She'll be excited. So I'll let you know what the result is. But thank you guys so much for tuning in for Purpose Fridays. We'll see you next week, same time, same place. And do not forget, there's going to be a link in the comment section that's going to drive you if you want to attend the Purpose Funding Generator webinar. It's a weekly series on Thursday nights, 6 o'clock Pacific time. It's every week. It's free. Get registered. It's great information. It's all driven towards funding. So next Thursday, be there or be square. Right there. Let's see you on Thursday, and then we'll see you again on Friday for another Purpose Fridays, and we will have Sherry with us at that time. Okay? Thanks, guys.